ASVAB General Science Terms, Part 1, Answers and E. Igneous. Igneous rocks are formed from the cooling of lava and include obsidian, granite, basalt, and others. Small intestine. Of the various digestive organs, the small intestine does the most work in breaking the food down into usable nutrients. Food is broken down completely by enzymes produced in the walls of the small intestine, in the pancreas, and in the liver. Chordata. The phylum Chordata contains animals with vertebrae. In human beings, the vertebrae are the bones that make up the spine. Animalia is the kingdom that includes humans. Mammalia is the class that includes humans. Primata is an order that includes primates, such as humans. Vena cava. Blood enters the right atrium of the heart from the vena cava. Veins. Veins carry blood from capillaries toward the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Ventricles are the lower chamber of the heart. Red blood cells are the component of blood that carries oxygen, neutrons and protons. The major portion of an atom's mass consists of neutrons and protons. Electrons, positrons, neutrinos, and other subatomic particles have negligible masses. Respiration. The process by which animals convert oxygen and sugars into carbon dioxide and water is called respiration. The reverse process, by which plants convert carbon dioxide and water into sugar and oxygen, is called photosynthesis. Ionic compound. Table salt, NaCl, is an ionic compound because each chlorine atom borrows an electron from each sodium atom. This results in very strong ionic bonds that enable salt to form a tightly bound crystalline structure when in the solid form. When salt is placed in water, however, the crystalline structure breaks down, and the individual sodium and chlorine ions are both able to dissociate into the water. Shale. Shale, which is derived from clay sediments, is an example of sedimentary rock. The Earth rotates 360 degrees about its axis. Over the course of 24 hours, the Earth rotates 360 degrees, or one complete rotation, about its axis. Iron forms rust. Iron forms rust when water, or even better electrolyte, turns into iron and oxygen into iron oxide, Fe2O3. This is a chemical process. Helium and neon are both inert noble gases, so they do not react chemically when sugar dissolves in water. The sugar particles become evenly distributed throughout the water, forming a solution. However, neither are changed chemically. The sugar can be restored by boiling off the water. Ice melting does not alter the chemistry of H20, the tendency of an object to continue moving in the same direction. Momentum is the tendency of an object to continue moving in the same direction. Velocity is the rate at which an object changes position. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. Force is the push or pull that forces an object to change its speed or direction. Autotroph. An autotroph is known as a producer or self-feeder because it can produce its own food. This is generally done through photosynthesis or chemosynthesis. A saprotroph is a decomposer. A heterotroph relies on other organisms to be its food, and a scavenger feeds on decaying flesh. On hundredth of a meter. The prefix centi indicates hundredth. 1,000th of a meter is called a millimeter. 10 meters is a decameter and 100 meters is a hectometer. O negative. Type O negative is the universal donor, which means that type O negative blood can be given to anybody without an adverse reaction. The Earth lies between the Moon and Sun. A lunar eclipse happens when the Moon passes through the Earth's shadow. During a lunar eclipse, the Earth lies between the Moon and Sunday. Proteins. Proteins are necessary for the body's maintenance, growth, and repair. Carbohydrates and fats are used primarily for energy. Vitamins are necessary for the functioning of various enzymes. Ammonia. The more basic, that is, alkaline, a substance is, the higher the pH. A substance with a pH of 7 is neutral, like pure water. A substance with a pH of less than 7 is acidic, and a substance with a pH of greater than 7 is basic/alkaline. Scavenger. A vulture is considered a scavenger. These animals mostly consume refuse and decaying organic matter, especially carrion, which is decaying flesh. Violet. Visible light is composed of different colors, each with a different frequency. Red has the lowest frequency, and violet has the highest frequency. 212 degrees. Water boils at 212 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale at sea level. On the Celsius scale, it boils at 100 degrees, and on the Kelvin scale at 373 K. Sea urchin. Arthropods represent a large phylum of the animal kingdom characterized by chitinous exoskeletons, segmented bodies, and jointed legs. Examples include crabs, centipedes, and spiders, but not the sea urchin, which belongs to the phylum Echinodermata. Gene. A gene is defined as the most basic unit of inheritance. A genotype is the combination of alleles that codes for a particular trait. A phenotype is the physical expression of a particular genotype. Chromosomes are tightly coiled strands of DNA that contain multiple genes. Monera. The Monera kingdom is considered the most primitive kingdom because its organisms are prokaryotic, that is, their cells lack nuclei.